Dr. Pierce in the building.
Yo. Coming off an ACL tear, still not looking like he's going to be ready for the start of the season.
These guys aren't the average Joe.
Okay.
This guy is a superstar. He'll definitely advance through.
Josh Pascal he just had a sports hernia surgery.
When we were dealing with the Red Wings, when there was a lot of sports hernias, it's another one of those tough recoveries.
There's a couple of Achilles injuries on this roster right now. One, Jeff Okudah.
I really don't want to put a prediction on there, but I'm concerned.
The host of All Access Sports Medicine Season 2 coming up. Dr. Pierce in the building.
Yo.
How you doing, Doc?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Hey, I got to do a shout out for you. Congratulations on going full time, 5 days a week.
Yeah, we
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Appreciate that.
Long time coming. We put in a lot of hard
I saw
work.
you guys working in the back room, moving up here.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate it, man.
I can say that.
Oh yeah, you can say whatever you want. We're off the rails on this show.
On this one.
I got to keep it cleaner on my shows.
Yeah. Yeah, you can let it fly. So we brought you in because obviously, you're a medical doctor. You're an expert on sports injuries too, because you were the doctor for the Red Wings for a long time. Different things like that.
Consultant
to the Red Wings. This man had some stories when we did the doctor show.
Really?
He seemed like more than a consultant in my eyes. But this man, he's been around the block, as we will say. And
calling him old?
That's a better term for calling me old.
Yeah, what the hell is that? Dude?
He says the back nine.
Well seasoned.
The Lions have started training camp, and they are dealing with some injuries to some key pieces in that rotation that they're trying to build. We're going to start with probably the biggest name on this injury list, and that is Jameson Williams. This guy they drafted out of Alabama, stud receiver, supposed to come in. Coming off an ACL tear, still not looking like he's going to be ready for the start of the season. What's going on with that injury, and how long do you think it would take him to fully recover from something like that?
Well, I mean, I think you were there when we talked about it originally after the draft and how I was promoting that this kid is going to be great. The injury may be a bonus in some of these young athletes. I mean, just to talk about the injury alone, they don't need him back for the start of the season. This guy isn't a short-term play. He's a long-term player. Bringing him back premature, we just talk about an ACL injury. You want to break down the injury? You want to just get into the nitty-gritty?
I was wondering, because I know when I Google it, ACL injury, it says like 6 months. But, I'm assuming that's for like a normal person.
That's for the average Joe.
Exactly.
These guys aren't the average Joe.
Okay.
We push it. There's a physiological healing process that has to take place, and that's between that 4 and 6 month period. And what you're looking at here is that his techniques, like when we did our show, we showed what kind of feedback systems he's using. We call it proprioception, things like that, reaction time. That ACL might be healing, and you may be fine to walk from here to the cooler, but when you're on the field and you got to change directions at a moment's notice or get around a guy, the feedback and what needs to be healed is all the factors, all the muscles triggering. So when you have an ACL injury, a lot of times your thigh will get weak because it's just going to shut down. You're going to atrophy. You have to get that back. His injury was actually repaired fairly quickly after the actual injury. And the other beauty with him is that he has a true just ACL tear. Okay. He doesn't have all the other things. There's a lot of anatomy around that knee.
Yeah.
There's the meniscus, there's the collateral ligaments, there's the PCL. There's damaged contusions to the bone. So the knee is a very intricate part of the body. It's one of the most intricate joints that we have, and it takes a lot of tear. So he has to be ready at all levels. You can't put him back prematurely. There's no reason to right now. So taking an extra month or so to get him solid, this guy is a superstar. He'll definitely advance through.
For sure.
The other thing is you talk to a lot of athletes, including Braylon here. He had an injury. They take life for granted. They think they're Superman. And then they don't train as much. They don't get prepared as much. I mean, a small percentage are truly training. But once they have an injury, they see the light that this could end in a second.
Yeah.
So they're actually kicking it up a lot harder now. So it could be a blessing for his whole career that he had this injury when he did.
For sure.
They say, because right now he's currently on what's called an NFI list, a non-football injury. And if you start on that list to begin the season, you automatically have to sit 4 weeks. But his injury, if I'm not mistaken, my math could be wrong, but I think he's like at the start of the season, he'll be like 9 months past his like surgery. Is it possible he plays?
Pardon me?
Is it possible he plays like earlier on in the season than we're expecting, since it'd be like 9 months post surgery at that point?
Well, I forgot the math, but if it is 9 months, I mean, after 6 months, they're ready to go. And this guy, I've seen he's working with the elite. He's got the elite team working with him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other beauty of being a professional athlete. And that's what we do at our place, is we try to treat you like a professional athlete.
Shout out.
To answer that question, I think everybody's going to be a little bit more on the cautious side, because re-injury puts him out totally.
Yeah.
So this guy has to feel, he's got to be cutting, he's got to be doing, there's a lot of things to be doing for a receiver. He's not a lineman just going forward, backwards, and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he prides himself on that quick, that half a second move to get around somebody.
Yeah, and we see like 10 years ago, the ACL, was a death sentence for these skill position guys, and now the first thing I think of is Adrian Peterson. When he tore his ACL, he came back in like 6 months, rushed for 2,000 yards, and won an MVP. What kind of advancements of the science has made it possible for these guys to bounce back from injuries like this to where it doesn't hamper their careers for a long time?
So probably the biggest thing is minimally invasive. So they're not like back then.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wide open cut. They're sitting there taking things out. The meniscus, they're not repairing as much. An ACL, the technique, like anything else with science and medicine right now, is advancing tremendously. So when you get into a minimally invasive, meaning it's a smaller incision, less disruption to the actual anatomy, it creates a return a lot quicker. When you start opening up that knee and you're dissecting and pulling things, I mean, it's just the skill, the instrumentation, the abilities to what we use the scope, so it's being done all under X-ray photograph, so you get to see everything. So the biggest advancement is the minimally invasive repairs, and the science of what we're doing for attachments, reattachments, how they're anchoring it into the bone. Those are all far more advanced. And like I said, Adrian Peterson had a time to relax and get the rest of his body rehabbed also.
Yeah.
You forget about that. They have one little injury. These guys have to play again by Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
He had a true 6 months off. If they dedicate to a true recovery, rehab for their whole body, not just their injured part, they come back a lot stronger, and hopefully Williams will be the same way.
So that's another thing I was going to ask is, a lot of people have fear that this, because he's known for his speed, he's known for his explosiveness, his quick cuts, stuff like that, that you're saying this might not hamper that at all in his future. It could even look better the next time he comes back because he's had this time off and he hasn't been taxing his body so much.
Well, I mean, guys coming out of college, he's at Alabama. It's a pseudo NFL team over there. But what he has skill set wise at the professional level from the college level is highly advanced.
Yes.
Can he get back to where he was? Yeah. But what I've said multiple times on our show, I'll take a half a second off of a talented individual like this instead of someone else.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that mindset. He's got that football sense. Is he going to lose a half a second? He might not, because he might be gaining it on his recovery and his rehab. And he's just going to be stronger. You talk to a lot of professional athletes, they're like, yeah, I was that person in college, but professional, it's just like anything else. Going from high school to college, going to college to professional, you're just moving at a different level. Your impact, your strength, your speed, you got to be better. The game's that much faster.
Definitely.
Speaking of guys like coming back, lesser or better than, there's a couple Achilles injuries on this roster right now. One, Jeff Okudah, a former 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft, a guy that we're hoping to be a stud, but it hasn't been the case lately. At the cornerback position, you're the guy guarding those receivers. We know how fast they are. Like, how much should someone expect that to hamper his ability, to follow these receivers and stay with them on a route?
The Achilles injury is moving into what the ACL used to be.
Yeah.
It's hard to recover. It's hard to recover for those type of positions. We talk about hockey injuries, things like that. When you're a quarterback, when you're, a defensive, on the defense or the offense moving at that speed, it's going to hinder you. It's a tougher rehab recovery because there's less anatomy around it, and you become hesitant. So I really don't want to put a prediction on there to play it back and pull me out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm concerned. When you have an Achilles injury with that type of player, we talk about speed. He's going to be a half a second slower. He's got to really work hard to recover, get a good repair going. So it's a concerning. It's a concern on, a little question mark on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd say something else. It's a concern for me as well.
Huh?
I was hoping you'd say something else because it's a concern for me as well.
he wants the reassurance.
I want him back.
It's all business. But
No, I mean, a lot of it is mental. You guys don't realize how much the game is mental, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a lot of these injuries, you have to get over it. You have to take, like I use Manning as one of the biggest examples. He was so hesitant when he came back from his neck surgery. He got hit. He said it. I got hit a couple times. I recovered. I got up. I'm okay.
Yeah.
So that's you got to see that. I mean, some of these guys, post-traumatic issues. It's real with these guys.
Oh,
they'll
for sure.
replay it. They'll dream. The more you can get into the mental state of it, the better. And mental state plays a big role in your recovery.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
And that's we have multiple Achilles injuries on this team, and I wanted to ask you about, for what position would it be worse? Like the cornerback position where you had that backpedaling and then you need to explode into a full sprint when you turn around on these receivers like Jeff Okudah, or Romero Okwara, that defensive end where you're trying to explode off the line of scrimmage and get to the quarterback every play.
It's definitely your cornerback.
Yeah.
Because he's got, with the explosive play, you're moving a few yards back and forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing here, you're going 20, 30 yards potentially. I mean, you got
every play too. Yeah.
Right. Every play you're moving. Granted, they'll shortcut it a little bit with their angles, but it's definitely more of the cornerback, which is more concerning.
For sure.
Those guys are also more powerful. They're not using it. They can get by with big chests and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But a pure speed position, you're going to have more trouble.
Definitely.
Real quick, because this actually went by way quicker than I expected. But you have season 2 of All Access Sports Medicine coming up. You want to go ahead, you want to plug that? Because I'm joining you. I'm be helping you out with that one.
I know. We're welcoming you on the team. We'd love it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, we took our summer break. We're going through season 2. We're coming out with, the same kind of thing. We're looking for integration. We want to give what the viewers want, what the questions are. We love the sports injuries. We love the banter, which we go back and forth. But the true thing we want to do is make sure we give at least 5 useful tips. We want to talk about injuries. We want to talk about recovery. The biggest reason I'm even doing All Access Sports Medicine is because I see so many people at all levels of education going to the wrong doctors, being misled. In today's environment with medicine and insurances, you don't get that liberty. You're like, oh, I screwed up the first time, I'll go to the next doctor. You got to get it right the first time because your insurance is running out. I've heard more about deductibles and payments and copays. You got to get to the right docs. You got to get to the right people for assessment. And our team, I'll put us up against anyone in the country as far as our treatment. In fact, I'm dealing with a big band who has an Achilles injury. Mm-hmm. They just came back from retirement, the reunion tour, tore his Achilles. I just got called yesterday about consulting on that. So it's at all levels we're dealing with it, meaning we're at a national level of treatment, and unfortunately we're here locally for the people here to be treated that way. But like last night, I've had a ton of there's a concert series full blown.
The Rock Doc.
I got
to run out of here and go to Pine Knob tonight for some event there, but I won't call that out. But last night was the weekend, and Elton John and
Did you fix his
Chris
hair?
Stapleton, all that stuff. We've been backstage at a lot of shows already.
Maybe you can help Easy out with his meniscus. He said he's struggling over there. But before
I think he's checking out my bio or something.
Before we do let you go, I just wanted to get this quick one in. So Josh Pascal he just had a sports hernia surgery. He's another big piece of the Lions' second-round draft pick, a guy they expect to do big things this year. How long do you expect him to be sidelined for with a surgery like that?
So he just had it, right?
Just had it,
yeah,
yes.
So
I think he had it in spring.
I think he just had it.
The surgery wasn't the surgery just recent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard the surgery was spring. This got confirmed today, though, that he had the surgery.
Yeah, I mean, it's another one of those tough recoveries. When we were dealing with the Red Wings, when there was a lot of sports hernias, it's a tough recovery because we didn't know about it. It's really a very thin layer that covers the muscle going in from the belly to the to the pubic bones, your private areas.
Yeah.
And it's very sensitive and it's very brittle. It's very, very cautious. So you got to be careful on the recovery. The surgery there has improved tremendously over the years. I mean, we're going back 15 years, I think, with Drapes and McCarty and everybody having their hernia repairs. And it's a sports hernia, so it's different than an inguinal hernia, which is in your groin and going into your privates. This is from your belly, so it's the abdominal muscles that you're concerned about. So it's a very small layer. So it's a long recovery. I mean, sometimes they're saying if it's depending on how much what had to be recovered, how big the tear was. I need to know that to tell you how quick he comes back.
Okay.
But everybody's been coming back. Football, I mean, you're constantly getting hit.
Yeah.
So it's going to be at least a 3 month. We'd like to see that 3-4 month period instead of that 4 to 6 on an ACL.
Yeah.
But if it's minimally invasive. That means less disruption. I would need to know the details of that. And I'm sorry I didn't research.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Throwing stuff at me here.
Yeah, I'm throwing you a
you're fine,
curveball
yeah.
there at that. No, we appreciate it. We appreciate all the knowledge. Thank you for joining us today,
No,
Dr. Jeff Pierce, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, coming in. Make
I
sure
gotta
you
get
guys-
Adam to do this stuff,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, for sure.
I gotta live in his shadow myself. Okay. Again, a big shout out to you guys in Woodward Sports. Since we came on, everything I've been watching, everything's growing, going in the right direction. We're here to help the cause of Woodward Sports, but really, I want to make sure the viewers get some knowledgeable information as far as their injuries. And you guys can encourage people to ask questions from a medical standpoint. Everybody has someone that has some medical issues. I can go on forever on what's happening right now, but we're having fun. And also my big golf outing Monday for Athletes Unlimited. I'm wearing the shirt today.
There we go.
But that's our year. It's our 25th year for the anniversary, 25th anniversary. Athletes Unlimited's been around 26 years, so we're looking to raise money for all those disabled athletes that you're seeing around town. So
That's awesome.
we do it.
Great
Appreciate
cause.
you, Doc.